Half a million people could lose their jobs depending on how the trade war goes. It's like, that's huge.
Trauma is internalized and then becomes part of your DNA.
We're leaving this country. It's over.
And a decision like that should not be made solely based on emotion.
What is up, everybody? It's Dr. Vibe here, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe Show, the home of Epic Conversations, and I'm the host of Epic Conversations, 2018 Innovation Award winner, 2020 Best Podcast News Award winner, given out by the Canadian Ethnic Media Association. I also co-host and co-produce the only online show in the world for dads, fathers, and male caregivers that is sponsored by Dove Men Plus Care. And as always, I'd like to say you're blessed, highly favored, a magnet for miracles, and a solution for someone's problem. We're broadcasting live on July 4th. So it's American Independent. Good. Wow. Dr. Tachi is already in the house. Good morning, Dr. Tachi. And it's funny, already in the house. And I was speaking with Dr. Tachi yesterday. And I said, so Dr. Tachi, what are you going to be doing on your 4th of July? She goes, well, I don't celebrate that. So she's celebrating here. I love that. So that is absolutely fantastic. I also, as I said to people, everybody, I also co-host and co-produce the only online show for dads, fathers, and male caregivers. It's sponsored by Dove Men Plus Care. And being part of that team, reached out directly and indirectly to over 400,000 dads, fathers, and male caregivers around the world. As I said, broadcasting live on July 4th. And whether you're watching this live on the replay, I hope you are fine and safe. And if you're out there watching live, especially, what wins can you celebrate? And I'm beginning to lead that now with almost every conversation I'm in. What wins have you? Give me a win to celebrate. And I was speaking with producer Matt beforehand. I said, wow, I've got a number of them. So what was it? Let's just sum off the top of my alleged mind. First of all, I've been telling people, be broadcasting now on Substack Live. And if you haven't checked out Substack, you may want to, especially if you're a writer. I would say it's the writer's version of YouTube. Yeah, I think that'd be the best way. And a number of journalists, writers post a lot on that platform. And I've mentioned a few times in the past that they opened up a live streaming capability on Substack. And I said, okay. Took me a little bit of time, but now consistent because we're broadcasting live on Substack right now. So anyone watching on Substack, hey, good to see you. And I'm monitoring the comments. So don't worry, I'm checking you out. And then also, I said I haven't done a post in Substack. I say a post. No, okay. So when you do a live stream on Substack, after it's finished, it saves as a draft. So if you go to my Substack page, if I'm not up until last night, but we'll get to that. So if you post on Substack a video, live video, it streams live, then it goes and saves. Then you've got to put it back up. Now I said, all right, let's have something official on Substack. Last night, here's the win. Posted Primetime Saturday from last Saturday or the Saturday before on Substack. The replay it went live. I said, yes. And it is working. So Substack is great. And, if you do these things, you should not try and do them alone. You should have a producer. And producer Matt, there was a feature on YouTube that they released selectively a little while back to streamers who have a lot of audience. I said, hey, man, I wish one day that we can get this. And what it does is basically it ranks people, it ranks the people who have chatted the most live on YouTube during a live stream. And now the Dr. Vibe Show has that. It's called the top fans. And right now, Dr. Tachi is the top fan. So even more reason for you to to watch the Dr. Vibe Show. Well, subscribe to the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube and then comment on YouTube. No, I ain't. I'm not yet, but I'm gonna get there. See, producer Matt always has my back. So 2 wins right out of the box. So now those 2 things. So something on Substack, something on YouTube has been okay. Now I know we may not have as much of an American live audience today because it's a long weekend, whether they're celebrating July 4th or not, but most people have a long weekend. And then I don't know if people are going to be celebrating today because the big, beautiful bill got passed yesterday. And I'm telling you, a lot of people are angry. A lot of people are upset about it. Maybe I'll get Wayne Harris, who's going to be on with us in a few moments. Maybe, I don't know how much he's paid attention to it, but we have to pay attention here. I'm based here in Canada. Anything that happens in the U.S. certainly has an effect in Canada. So I remember in grade, that's another story. That so if U.S. gets cold, U.S. gets a cold, we get sneezes. So we're going to be impacted. And with the trade stuff and all that stuff, there's so much stuff going on in the world, especially economically. We're going to make that conversation happen today, but just we know that it could be a little bit of a lower turnout today, but that's okay because we're going to be dropping knowledge bombs, information, etc., etc., etc. On that note, we are going to go to a break. So we'll be back in 30 seconds, do some housework, and then we're going to get Mr. Wayne Harris on the show. So see you in 30 seconds. What is up, everybody? It's Dr. Vibe here. These are 2 ladies. They're not all over the place. They're straight shooters.
I got to
This is part of the story that a lot of news outlets are not talking about. There you go. Well, since July 4th, got to put on Primetime Saturday with Isha and Lala, where they try to make sense of the nonsense that's going on in America. And program alert, we're doing a replay tomorrow because they're taking the weekend off, just because it's a long weekend, not to celebrate the 4th of July. Just want to make sure there's a little differentiation. So not to celebrate the 4th of July, but it's a long weekend, but something's going to be on. It's ready, queued up. So if you subscribe to me on any of the platforms, it's ready to go. Excuse me. Let's go to the homework or housekeeping stuff. Subscribe to the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube and hit the notification button. Like the Dr. Vibe Show on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, Blue Sky, and Substack. Yeah, all those platforms, we is there. And we're just short of 1,850 subscribers on YouTube. So I've been doing a lot of stuff around to try some strategization to see if we can up the YouTube game more, because I'd love to see if we could hit 2,000 subscribers by the end of this year. That's a goal. All right. Join the Morning Vibe Discord group. Please email me at dr.vibe@vibeshow.com or click on the Discord link. Also, to advertise your business, product, or service on our show, email me dr.vibe@vibeshow.com. Then we have Indie Soup TV. Since Dr. Tachi was first in the house this morning, she was first in the house. It's an independent content creators platform that she drives out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida. I'm probably getting close to 28,000 YouTube subscribers, which is always huge because we always say only 4% of all YouTube channels has over 10,000 subscribers, and only 10% have over 1,000 subscribers. So I'm in the second category, not in the first. Dr. Tachi's at the top. So there is the link for YouTube, and there's also the website. Now, program alert. Coming up on this Monday's show, Donovan Martin Sr., who is the editor behind the Daily Scrum News. He was on about a month ago, him and Emma from that publication, Emma Ansa. They were talking about missing Black Canadians and how it's not being paid attention to, especially by the authorities. Well, Donovan is now going to be on once a month. Emma's already been on once a month, but Donovan, now it's his turn. And we're going to be talking about Sean Diddy Combs. Are you still listening to his music? So Monday, you may want to check out every show. It's going to be a very interesting conversation, and we have a surprise for you on Monday also. Not going to tell you what it is, but we have a surprise for you on Monday's show. All right. It is the first Friday of a new month. Man, and you know how fast this month's going to go, because once summer hits, the weather goes, woo! So as always, we have Mr. Wayne Harris joining us. So hello, Mr. Harris. Hope you are doing fine. What's going on? What's going on?
Doctor, happy 4th of July.
I don't celebrate them things, brother. That's them people. That's them people. Both of us are wearing red. We're wearing our Canadian red.
Yes. Let's make 4th of July great again.
Well, some people. I would love to ask Americans how they feel as an American on this 4th of July, especially how the big, beautiful bill's going to be signed today.
Yeah, well, you know what? That's a good question. Dr. Tachi's on. Why don't you ask her?
Yeah, well, Dr. Tachi, we asking the big beauty. I know I have a feeling what Dr. Tachi is going to say, but I'm not going to. I don't speak for people. All right, I don't do those things. But yeah, so you've been doing some traveling.
Yes, I went to my homeland, my parents' homeland of Barbados, from the 19th to the 25th, and my father had some specific requests for his internment of his ashes. So my brother and I and our families went down to Barbados and took care of business for him. So his last resting place is about 1 kilometer from where he was born.
Okay, well,
and took care of that. So it was a unifying celebration of his life.
Nice.
And I was proud to be able to do that for him and do it with my brother. My sister couldn't be there because she is not a born American.
Oh.
And you know how that goes.
But
well, and we'll leave it at that. So she was trying to do the math about the pros and the cons about being there for a very important celebration of life, but the risks with what we're hearing from the various news medias about people who are not born in the States. Even if you're born in the States and you're a naturalized citizen, there are shenanigans that have been promoted that could take place that could cause you not to be able to get back into the country that you live and work in. So she made that very, very difficult choice.
I'm sorry. I'm really sorry to hear that.
I'm sorry as well. But again, I know that she did not make that decision lightly. But at the time that we were booking tickets, this was the talk of the day.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. That's it just shows how challenging the situation is in America. That is
everyone's getting touched. So even though I'm not in America, I'm being touched by what's going on down there. But that's not what we're here to talk about.
No, we are here today and talk about saving versus investing, FHSA, TFSA, RRSP, and non-registered accounts. So how you want to kick us off? And I'm going to actually set up an interesting poll. I know this is maybe a little cited to Canadians, but I'm going to also bring some generic stuff about saving versus of investing into the spiel. So where you want to kick this off?
First and foremost, I want to give a shout out to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and the Oklahoma City Thunder to have a Canadian win most valuable player for the league, most valuable player for the NBA Finals, win the championship, and win the scoring title.
Yeah,
only three other men have done that, and one of them is my boy Michael Jordan.
Yes, right? Yeah, that's a huge feat.
It's a big deal, and because he did all that, OKC gave him a supermax contract.
Oh yes, Yes.
where in his coming year he's going to make his last year I think he made like $71 million a year. So it's $230 million contract over 4 years, and well deserved. He did everything that Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, and James Harden could not do in OKC, and that those three players are all going to the Hall of Fame. And the three of them combined in OKC couldn't do what the Canadians did, Lou Dort and Shea Gilgeous, to win the NBA championship. So shout out to Hamilton's own Shea Gilgeous Alexander.
I wonder if he'll ever make a trip back there with the championship trophy.
100%. 100% he's coming. And it's going to be probably a very, very big deal. All right. So I was trying to share a file to media, but it doesn't seem to want to work for me for whatever reason. So I'll just speak to it. And again, today being Independence Day for the Americans, no information. I'm not licensed to speak to American investments, but I do know what some of them are. And right now, this first one we're going to talk about, which is the RRSP. This one is, I guess, the equivalent of their 401k. Okay, this is taking money and saving it tax deferred until you retire, and then using the income from that account in order for you to live your best life on top of the pensions that you would get from the government. So if you're looking at Canada Pension Plan and Old Age Security up here, you would add this third account, the RRSP, to the mix. So let's talk about it. The RRSP was invented in 1957. It's a long time ago, but even before my time, and that's unusual for me to have something that old, and it is a tax deferred account. So what does that mean? It means that it's an account that you don't want to, you want to be able to put money in and have the money grow and pay no taxes on the money while the money is growing in the account. It's a fantastic account. Now my computer has changed its screen for some reason and I don't see all my notes, but that's okay. I can do it off the dome, Dr. Vibe.
Off the dome. I love that. Off the dome.
Off the dome. So the RSP is a tax deferred account, not a tax free account. Big difference. It means you're not going to pay tax now. You're going to pay tax later when you start drawing on the account. It also has a trigger that allows you have to pay taxes at the end of your 71st year. So Once you turn 71, you now have to start taking money out of the RSP. The government will force you to take money out so they can tax the money at 71, which shouldn't be too big a deal because you shouldn't be working. You should be in a lower tax bracket. So when you pull the tax money out, a lot of shoulds there.
Thank you. Okay, all right, go on.
Yeah, a lot of shoulds there. So you should pull the money out. You should be able to be in a lower tax bracket and pay less tax. Because when you're putting the money in between 18, you have to be 18 years old to contribute, and you stop contributions at December 31st of the year of your 71st birthday. So even if your birthday is January and your 71st birthday, you can contribute all the way to December 31st of that year for the RRSP. It can be used in many ways. You can invest multiple ways. You can put the money into stocks, right? Or you can put the money into mutual funds or segregated funds, or you can put the money into savings accounts. When I'm out there in those streets, Dr. Vibe, I see a lot of people not earning big money on their RRSP. They have it in accounts that are earning pennies per year as opposed to earning real money because they are afraid of the downside of the market. My question to the people is, if you're in your 30s or 40s and you don't plan to retire for 25 years, what's the risk of attempting to get some larger gains by using the stock market as your tool the stock market has returned, the American stock market has returned traditionally anywhere between 11 and 13%, depending on which market you're in. Why would you forfeit 11 to 13% to make 1 or 2%, which is not even beating inflation? It means you're not even making enough money to cover your bills, right?
Can I just interrupt there for a few things?
Sure.
In a reverse order, people, we are in uncertain economic times, but the Toronto and the New York stock exchanges are still going up. They're still going up. So even in uncertain times, again, now if you go the long view, because if you're just a short-term person, you're not gonna get this. But long term, like I know the Toronto stock market this week had an all-time high. And the US, and I'm pretty sure if the New York, whether it has or it's close. So even in uncertain times, the stock market is still going up.
Right. Can you still see me?
Yes, it can.
Okay, perfect. So the first thing you're looking at is tax deferral. So let's say you're in a marginal tax bracket. The highest tax bracket in Ontario is 53.53%. Believe it or not, Dr. Vibe, you make $1, the government takes 53.53% of that money. If you're earning north of 200 and change $1,000 a year. So if you're making about $250,000 a year or more, you're in the highest tax bracket. You're going to pay 53% of your income. So every dollar that comes in, 53% is coming off. On top of that, CPP is coming off. On top of that, OAS is coming off. On top of that, EI is coming off. And then you get to live on the difference. Congratulations for being in Canada and in Ontario. It can be higher in other provinces. Out east in Nova Scotia, it's 54%. Okay, so that's the first thing. For every dollar you put in, you get a tax deduction based on your marginal tax bracket. So if you put $10,000 in, you're going to get a $5,300 tax return. Not bad. Okay, that's as high as you can get in Ontario. The second thing you can do is you can put it into compound growth. So it doesn't have to be in things that don't earn a lot of money. You can really beat inflation and really, really grow your money because you're not being penalized by tax on an annual basis. The third thing you can do is you can put up to 18% of your gross income. So if you make $100,000 a year, you can put $18,000 into an RSP on an annual basis to a maximum of about $30,000. Okay? So the good news is you can go backwards in time. So if you were 18 years old and you didn't think about RSPs, but you were working and you didn't do anything until you were 30 years old, you can go back to 18, a full 12 years, and put those contributions based on your room and your notice of assessment all the way back up to current times.
Wayne, can I politely interrupt? How far back can one go with that sort of move?
You could be 60 years old. You can go all the way back to 18.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a big deal. A lot of people don't know about it.
Yeah, that I had no idea on even no. That's it. Okay, sorry to interrupt. That's I think really good information to know. Good stuff.
Yeah, fantastic. And the other thing is, you can, if you're married, another reason to be married. You know, I've been married now 32 years, almost 11 months. 32 years, almost 11 months.
Coming up to
the big 3-3 next month. And you can do spousal RSPs. Let's say you have a spouse that makes less money than you or is much younger than you. You can contribute to an RSP for them. You get the tax deduction, but they get the savings. So it gives people who are in very high earning, let's say a doctor has a stay-at-home wife or a doctor's female, she has a stay-at-home husband, she can now use a spousal RSP for them, but she gets the tax deduction. It's powerful. So it allows you kind of to income split your tax savings. A couple of other things that are very, very cool with the RSP is you can do the home buyer's plan. What the home buyer's plan is, it recently went up from $35,000 of your RSP that you can use for a down payment on the house without getting taxed on withdrawing the money for the house. So if you want to buy a house, you can use your RRSP up to $60,000 now of your RSP. Yes, yes, big deal. And take that $60,000, take it out of the RSP. As long as you use it for a down payment on a house, you pay no taxes on removing the money, and you have 15 years to pay back 1/15 of that 60,000 every year for 15 years.
That's a game changer.
Big deal. And
That's
we can only do it. Yeah, we can only do it to 35,000 for years. It was 25,000 for years, then it went to 35,000. Now, because of the cost of housing in Canada, it's up to $60,000. So imagine if you have $60,000 in your RSP, and your partner has $60,000 in their RSP, or you have a family, 3 siblings, and all 3 of you come with $60,000, you have $180,000 now to put down on the house without having to pay tax, and you just have to pay it back 1/15 at a time over the next 15 years. If you don't pay it back, the 1/15 will be added to your income in the year you don't pay it back.
Okay, Dr. Tachi has a question.
Sure.
She says, do you see the benefit of high taxes?
Wow, that's a great question, Dr. Tachi.
That's Dr. Tachi.
There are some jurisdictions around the world, mostly in the Scandinavian countries, where they have things like very high tax, up to 65% tax, but their healthcare is on point. Their universities are very, very reasonable or free. There's a universal income, so you can't be broke. The government's going to take care of you. So if you have the safety nets that are required where everyone can live a life of dignity, high taxes to me are fine. But to have high taxes and to have potholes that families can live in, not have a new bridge or a new highway, can't build houses, and no pipelines and all the other things that taxes should be used for to build domestic infrastructure. If you're not doing those things, if I'm still waiting 18 hours in a hospital in emergency, I have a problem with very high taxes. But if I can get in and out with modern technology and well-trained people and enough doctors, nurses, and PSWs for the coming baby boomer, retirements and having them, and I'm a Gen X, all of us coming through, I need to know there's going to be doctors there to take care of business, nurses to take care of business, hospitals with enough beds. We had a pandemic and we saw we didn't have enough beds, long-term care facilities that are up and running and certified. I need to know you're doing these things with the taxes. So high taxes with accountability and visible benefits, I'm okay with. High taxes and no accountability and nothing to show for it, I have a problem with.
Okay. And Dr. Tachi says, exactly right. So she agrees with you. And so in light of that situation, it'll be very interesting to see over the next few years in America how the top is going to be taxed less. What are the services going to be like for the 99%? Because according to what I've heard from this bill, rural hospitals going to be gone. Staff going to be gone. A lot of things are going to be gone. So it's going to be based on what you shared with us, it's going to be very interesting to see how that rolls out over the next number of years in America, and if we ever get to it in this side in Canada.
Yeah, I think that, taxes are the reason America was created, right? It was a Boston Tea Party and all that good stuff. So you have to think about why people are upset with what's going on with their taxes, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So one more thing with the RSP. RSP has a lifelong learning plan. So you can take from your RSP for you to go back to school up to $20,000. You can borrow against your RSP to go and do your master's degree or go do some higher education. And again, no tax on that. And you have to repay it over 10 years. Same thing, 1/10 of it going back into the RSP every year for the 10 years, or you will have it added to your income. Now, the key here is it has to be an approved education. What's approved and what's not approved, that changes all the time, but mostly university, college, maybe something in skilled trade, they might give it to you. Culinary, maybe you have to go and check and see what the rules are on the website, government website, canada.ca, and they'll tell you what's approved and what's not approved. Okay?
Got it.
Now,
okay,
so go ahead.
Another quick question. Oh, now the comment here from Dr. Tachi, and thank you, Dr. Tachi, for driving the ship. The comment says, she goes, the interesting thing is that we're already taxed more than the 1%, yet the infrastructure here is crumbling. And she's saying in the U.S., in Florida, they haven't done a darn thing since the New Deal.
Yeah, you know what? Your foreign policy and your military take up a lot of your budget in the United States. So the Army gets everything it needs, or the joint services get everything they need in order for them to do what needs to be done to maintain American foreign policy. And that's neither here nor there. I'm not going to comment on that. But America ensures that there are favorable trading conditions for America all over the world. And they have something like 800 bases around the world. And all those bases have bodies and buildings and infrastructure and equipment. And all that has to be paid for.
Yep.
Right? All that has to be paid for. So this is where, if someone were to do a true audit of the joint military services, you think about, you have the Army, you have the Navy, you have the Marines, you have the Air Force, you have the National Guard, you have the Coast Guard, you have Homeland, FBI, CIA, ATF, DEA. Whew!
Where's Doge?
all of that, and then there's a lot going on in the United States, and they have to be coordinated. And then you have state law enforcement, and then you have municipal and county law enforcement. So the sheriff, all the way to the state police, all the way to the Federal Bureau of Investigators, and then CIA, and you just have a lot of infrastructure for protection of democracy. I'll just leave it at that. Is that fair?
Well, did you say, we say democracy in quotes?
Yes.
Okay.
Right. So we'll leave it at that.
All right. Continue on if you wish. And also, if you want, I can jump in with some questions for you.
Go for it.
Yeah. Okay. What's the main difference between saving and investing, and why does it matter when choosing accounts like FSHA, TFSA, and RSP?
Right. So perfect. Saving is going to give you the ability to not lose money. That's the good news. When you're saving, you're not going to lose your money. There's not a lot of market exposure to saving. The problem is you really can't make money when you're saving. If the rate of inflation is 2-3% and your return on your investment is 2-3%, you're at zero real rate of return. And that means that you're not making enough money to beat inflation, which means your money is not growing. So there are some ways that you can earn better returns on your money with conservative investing that will still double the rate of inflation at a very, very low level of risk. And this is where education comes in. I really need to know how long before you need the money. How long before you need the money, and what level of risk are you willing to take on that money? Because if you need the money tomorrow to put a down payment on a house, I'm not investing it in the S&P 500, Dr. Vibe. Right? I'm not doing that, because you might be way down when you need that money. But if you are, you got a baby and the baby is, 3 months old, and you want to create an account for that baby, you can put that money into the S&P 500 or the NASDAQ or other ETFs that will allow that to grow at 2, 3, 4 times the amount of inflation. And that child will have a war chest of cash by the time they're 18 years old. The power of time is so incredible that if an 18-year-old were to put $2,000 to $2,500 a year into an account, $200 a month for 10 years, from the age of 20 to 30, and never invest again, and they're making 10% on the money, they're a multimillionaire by the
Oh.
time they retire.
Yeah.
If someone waits 10 years, Dr. Vibe, don't invest at 20. Live hot girl summer, hot boy summer, and do what they have to do. And then at 30, even triple the amount of money they're putting in. Because they lost those 10 years, the money will not compound anywhere near the millions of dollars that it would at 20. So it's not only being in the market, it's not only getting decent returns in the market, it's how early you get into the market. And a lot of us are saying, well, once I pay my OSAP, once I pay my car, once I pay my house, then I'll start investing. No, Dr. Vibe. The youngest you can get an account for a child is as soon as they get their social insurance number. As soon as I have that social insurance number, fire in the hole. And we start putting money, birthday money, Christmas money, bar mitzvah money, Ramadan money, I don't care, red pockets from the Chinese, whatever you have, you start putting that money into these accounts and you let it cook. You let it cook because they don't need it till they're 17, 18 when they're going to go to university. And if you have a registered education savings plan, we'll talk about that as well. But the RRSP, for getting back to that, is you can only do that when you're 18 years old. But there are other things we'll talk about today you can do before 18 years of age. Okay?
That's good. No, that's good. That's good.
So saving, you're barely beating inflation, can't lose money. Investing, you can dominate inflation. You can do really, really well, but there's some risks that come with that. I need to know when do you need the money and what your risk tolerance is. And the more you understand about how the financial services work, the less scared you are. Maybe your risk tolerance will rise a little bit, and that will help you get better returns, especially if you're starting late in your 30s, 40s, and 50s. And I'm meeting people who haven't invested forever because they didn't know what they were doing and didn't want to lose their money.
Yep. Before we jump any further, people, if you want to get a hold of Wayne, we're going to put up on the screen here his website, email address, Instagram. Plus, if you're watching this, you can also scan the QR code that is in the box that he's in, and it'll take you directly to his website. So just want to put that out there. Plus, it's his contact information is in all the comments and all the platforms you're watching this live or replay. Back to you, Wayne.
Perfect. So 2 disadvantages. One is when you withdraw from the RSP, you have to pay tax, right? So if you withdraw up to $5,000, you only have a 10% withholding tax, which is not too bad. So if you withdraw $5,000, you get $4,500 in your hand. The withholding tax gets higher, up to 20%, if you take more than $10,000. Okay. Contribution room, unused contribution room from previous years carry over, but if you over contribute, there are penalties. So you have to really know where your number is. You have to call CRA because sometimes your notice of assessment doesn't have the up-to-date number. You call Canada Revenue Agency and say, how much room do I have to put in my RSP since I was 18? And they'll tell you the number. You stay below that number, you'll do just fine.
Another question for you, and I'm sure you get this from either potential clients or clients. Should I pay off debt first or start investing right away? And what do you suggest to them?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So, if your debt is predatory, meaning that you're paying more than 30%, we'll focus on that primarily, but I'll still use the 80-20 rule, Pareto's law. I never want to pay my creditors and not pay myself, ever. I never want any of my credit card companies, my car loans, my mortgage. I never want anybody to be more important than me and my family and my future self. Because you'll take care of Visa, you'll take care of MasterCard, you'll take care of Chevrolet, and then when you're 65, they're not going to take care of you. You still need to have money to live when you retire. So you need to have that money compounded. I don't care if it's $50. I need something to go towards you. It's called pay yourself first. I need something to go to you to make sure that you are compounding money, making money on the money over your lifetime, especially if you started late. So yes, take care of the debt. And I'll show you, there's a couple of ways to do that in terms of how you approach the debt and we'll discuss that when we're doing the analysis, the financial needs analysis. I know that there are people who believe, hey, I want to pay off the highest interest rate card first. Maybe. Some people say, I want to pay off the biggest balance first. Maybe. Really depends on everyone's situation, and we have that conversation with them. Okay?
All right.
All right.
But keep
Go
on
ahead.
going. I got lots of conversations, but I wanted to make sure that everything you want to get out gets out first, and then I can add some conversation pieces.
Okay, perfect. So we got the tax-free savings account. Tax-free savings account was invented in 2009 and allows you to take your take-home income, after-tax money, and invest it in an account that will never pay tax again. It's crazy. So they have it in the States. It's called the IRA, Investment Retirement Account, IRA, and one in particular called a Roth IRA. And you have the ability to take after-tax money, throw it into this account, and you can invest it in anything. Stocks, mutual funds, segregated funds, or basic savings account, and this will grow tax-free. So depending, again, this account opens up only when you're 18 years of age, and you want to put stuff money into this account. And you can have some of it at very high risk, some of it at medium risk, some of it at low risk, or all of it at high risk, depending on your appetite for risk. But you have the ability to stuff this account with money that you'll never pay tax on, even when you withdraw it. This is the key. The RRSP, you have withholding taxes. You have other income taxes on the RRSP when you withdraw. The TFSA, no taxes. Everyone should have one. 2009 to now. So if you have a TFSA and you've done fantastically well with it, it does not affect your CPP and your OAS. No one's coming to say you're going to get less CPP and less OAS because you have a big fat TFSA. It's fantastic. Okay. Third, flexible contributions. You can do it monthly, or you can do it ad hoc. Whenever you have some money, put the money in. But you have the ability to control that account. You say, okay, I missed my contribution for 2024. In 2025, I can put that contribution in for 2024. It's fantastic.
Nice.
And the ability to withdraw money from the TFSA. And once you withdraw the money from the TFSA, you can't put that money back in the same year. It will be seen as an over contribution. But if you put the money in a year later, so it's 2025, you withdraw 30,000.
Okay.
Don't put 30,000 back in that year. It'll be considered beyond the $7,000 you're allowed in 2025. But if you do in 2026, you have the ability to go back and put that money in the following year.
Okay. Good. Keep on going, or I can jump in. It's up to you.
One last point. There's no mandatory withdrawals. So the RSP S71 triggers a mandatory withdrawal every month. No mandatory withdrawal with the TFSA. The money can be in there until you die.
Got it.
Okay.
Got it. All right.
Two disadvantages, lower contribution limits. So the RSP, you can put a lot more money into than the TFSA. And you don't get any tax break for having a TFSA. The TFSA is after tax money. Okay. Back to you, sir.
All right. So a few conversation pieces then. So for someone just starting out, which account do you usually recommend opening first? The FSA, TFSA, RSP, or non-registered account, and why?
Good question. It's all about tax, baby. And it's all about marginal tax brackets. So the RRSP, you could start it at 18, but you're probably not making enough money to benefit from it. The TFSA, I would start at 18. The first-time homeowner savings account, again, you're 18. I don't know what kind of money you have to be putting money into a first-time homeowner savings account. But if you wanted to defer taxes and reduce your taxable income, let's say you're one of these child prodigies and you're doing really, really well, I would open up all the accounts at 18 if I'm making money. But if I'm not making money, tax-free savings account is your number one account for people who are not making a lot of money and want to save.
Okay. Are there any common mistakes you see people make when using these accounts, and how can we avoid them?
Great question. First things first. Because I do a lot of work with folks who are considering retiring or they have parents retiring. So we're in the squeeze generation, Dr. Vibe. We have parents who are older than us and may need our assistance financially. And we have kids that are still going through school and may need our help financially. So we're being squeezed right in the middle, squeeze generation. We want to make sure that people understand that if you have your money in a bank versus having your money in an insurance company, that money is in your estate. And should something happen to you, you have a larger tax footprint in a bank than you do in an insurance company. That's probably the biggest deal right there. So how do you avoid the mistakes? You stop looking to your bank to do your investing, and you start looking to insurance companies to do the exact same type of investing, but with some super tax advantages by doing it with an insurance company versus a bank. The banks are convenient, but from an estate perspective, the bank is probably not the best place you want to put your funds because you have exposure to probate and your final year estate taxes. Okay.
How should someone decide whether to save for a short-term goal like a trip or emergency fund versus invest for a long-term like retirement or buying a home?
Great question. You want to look at having different buckets of money. So one bucket of money is going to be for my living expenses. Another bucket of money is going to be for my paying off my debts. Another bucket of money is going to be for my short term. I want to go on vacation, sort of savings. And my next bucket is going to be my long term savings. So when I'm retiring, I don't have to look for money. So you want to make sure each one of those buckets is filled and you don't commingle the buckets. So people are going to do here did, nails did, everything did. That's in bucket number one of my living expenses. Once I hit that number of that budget, no more money for hair, nails, and makeup and all the other things you're doing. And same thing with guys. No more motorcycle parts, no more video game consoles, no more any of that. No more boys trips to Colombia because you don't satisfy your bucket of living expenses. So you're not going to Colombia if you can't pay your rent. But I have people who go to Colombia on credit and pay monthly to go on that trip rather than not go because they can't afford it. So travel debt is going up exponentially as people say, you know what, YOLO, you only live once, and off they go.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
There's a meme out there, and there's a guy like a pastor saying, we're going to do it anyway. We're going to do it anyway. We're going to do it anyway. Right? They're going to spend the money. We're going to do it anyway. Right? I think that is a little bit short-term thinking. And you come from a rich family and you know that something's coming back, a bonus or a commission check that's going to cover off that trip, and it's a once-in-a-lifetime trip, like it's your granny's 100th birthday. Hey, you know what? You can make a decision to say, listen, I'm going to be at Granny's 100th birthday because I may not get a chance for 101st, right? And I don't have the money to go, but I want to be there in Jamaica to be there for 100th, and I'm her first grandchild and whatever. Sure. You know what? You make those calls, but you need to have a plan on what you're going to do on the back end. So that's the tax-free savings account. It's a mandatory account for anybody over 18. Not mandatory, but I would say it's mandatory. If someone talks to me and they're over 18 and don't have one of those, I have to really wonder what they're doing. And if they have one and it's not earning what it should earn because they're unaware or afraid of the different options to earn more on the account, definitely we'll talk to them about that. Okay, so tax-free savings account. Okay. Third account, first-time home savings account, invented in 2023. Has similar benefits as the RRSP, where you put the money into the account and it's tax deductible, reducing your taxable income for the year. However, when you withdraw, they're not taxed if you buy your first home with it. It's designed for you to buy a home. So if you put the money in and you take it out to buy a home, you're good from the government's perspective. Good news is you get to put $8,000 a year to a maximum of $40,000.
Whoa.
So that's 5 years. So remember, with the RRSP, you have $60,000, and over here you have $40,000. So if you have a partner and they have an RRSP with 60, and they have a first-time home savings account with 40, that's $100,000 they can put down. Their partner can put down 60 from the RRSP and 40 from here. That's 100 this. $200,000 down, go get your house. Okay? So it's really not about having a first-time home, because people are going to say, well, I already have a home. Well, if you have a home and you haven't done anything for 4 years, define basically, if you use the fund to purchase a home and you haven't owned a home for 4 years, maybe it's the second house, you bought a house years ago and you sold it, you're going to say, oh, I don't qualify as a first-time homeowner. Yeah, you do, if it's been more than 4 years that you haven't had your name on title. Okay. And again, withdrawals are tax-free if you're going to put them into buying a house. And if you have a first-time homeowners and you don't buy a house, you can transfer these money into an RRSP down the road after 15 years. Okay. Right? So it gives you that flexibility as well.
Okay. All right. Any good. Final words you want to share with our family today before we let you go and help people?
No, sir. I think that your platform is amazing. You're amazing. I love doing this for the people, whether they come on live or they come on recorded. Yeah. I'm glad to put the information in their hands and hope that they make a decision to do something to help themselves and help their families. More people need to hear this show. I can't believe you're only at 1,800. I think we should have a goal of 2,000 before the end of the summer.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. Absolutely. And we're going to do it all together, because when we work together, we win together. And I'm glad that it's been helpful for you and expanding your client base. So I'm glad that, because I don't do things to win by myself. I want to win through me, not just in me.
No, 100%. Thank you. And thank you to all the folks who come on and give great comment and commentary, because you and I, we're bold and we're bald and we're black, but we need to get some feedback from the people to see if we're actually hitting the mark. And I'm glad that there's some people who come on and offer their opinions. So thank you for that.
Well, absolutely. And the people who are watching live on the replay or listening on a replay, you are essential for us doing this, because we just don't want to do it in the dead air. So you are part of this. Dr. Tachi says this was a great show, and also says great platform. So as always, Wayne, to you and your family, don't just manage your time, manage your energy. Remember to give yourself grace, and we will catch you soon, my brother.
See you in August, baby.
All right.
Weekend.
And also Afrofest this weekend too.
Yes.
All right. Take care, my brother. Be well.
Take care. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye. All right. That is Mr. Harris. He is gone for now, but we'll chat with him a little bit after. And I want to say thank you to everybody who checked us out today. And if you are watching via YouTube, gonna do something right quick. Want to get your thoughts on today's show. So we're just going to put up another poll. We love being interactive here. So we would like you, if you're watching on YouTube, to rate today's show. So 1 to 5. 1, you thought, it was terrible. 5 said, Mr. Harris hit it out of the park. So we'll just wait for that. And yeah. All right. So we are there. So while we're doing the poll thing, I just want to make sure that we cover some last things. So as always, please subscribe to the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube and hit the notification button. Like the Dr. Vibe Show on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, Blue Sky, and Substack. Yes, we are on all those platforms. But again, it's a team that helps me. So big up to the team. Join the Morning Vibe Discord group. Please email Dr. Vibe at the Dr. Vibe Show, or click on the link that you see on your screen. Also, Yeah, we got that. We got to put that there. All right. Then we have to advertise your business, product, or service on the show. Please email me at dr.vibe at the drvibeshow.com. Also, coming up on this Monday show, Donovan Martin Sr. will be talking about, he's the head of Brain Trust behind the Daily Scrum News, which is another great online platform. Black owned, Black run. We're going to be talking about Sean Diddy Combs. Are you still listening to his music? So we're going to talk about the trial. We're going to talk about all that. And always, if you want to get a hold of Ryan Knight, there's his website, RyanO'NeillKnight.com. That's KN, not N. LinkedIn, Ryan O'Neill Knight. Instagram, Ryan.Knight99. And email address, workwithme@RyanO'NeillKnight.com. Website, if you want to get a hold of me, the drvibeshow.com. YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, and TikTok, The Dr. Vibe Show. Instagram, at The Dr. Vibe Show. X, drvibeshow.com. Email address, given it to you already. You catch me on Substack, which we're broadcasting live on right now, at drvibe.substack.com/subscribe, and also on Blue Sky at drvibe.bsky social. And you can watch replays of this epic conversation on the Dr. Vibe Show, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and also the Afro-Caribbean Business Network on Facebook, and Ryan O'Neill Knight on YouTube. All right, so we have results from our poll. So let me just see what people had to say today. Okay. 25%, 3, 75%, 5. I'll take that. The average is 4.5. I'll take the average of 4.5. So that is our poll for today. All right. Let's take that poll down and let's do some more comments before we go. Dr. Tachi says, this was a great show. Thank you, Dr. Tachi. Oh, I already said that. Yes, already said that. All right, I think we've got everything covered. Oh, the Walamala says, we'll definitely watch the replay. Fantastic. All right, so as we close it off, live your life as a dream. If you can dream it, you can make it. Sometimes you have to get smaller, get stronger. Block assumptions. Aim bigger, aim better, aim higher, aim wider. Love, faith, and respect. Don't just manage your time, manage your energy. Remember to give yourself grace. And if you're not making money, make history. But try to do both and always make it better. I want to say big shout out as usual to producer Matt. This was a smooth show today, producer Matt. This was on fire. And you were part of the driving ship to make it happen today, and everyone else involved. As always, and also remember, catch us on Monday. We got a surprise for you on Monday. Other than Donovan Martin Sr., Ralph Martin Sr., and the whole conversation about Sean Diddy Combs, we got another surprise for you. So as always, God bless, peace be well, keep the faith, and walk good.
This whole thing of using your business with plant-based products, don't you think your life should reflect that too?
Juke him, Carolyn. Juke him. The family loves us here because they're saying Fitness IQ Can says put a wig on to get in.
Oh God! Oh my God!
Like the ideas are just coming fast and furious here this morning. What? Okay, look at this. Global Women Ambassador. Good morning. Look forward. Okay.